Playing against NRG is going to be fun because I was teammates with Verno and Bangkok last year. We know each other's play styles so well.
Verno and Mata are definitely two massive additions to our team. For us, it's a blessing to have the rookies that we do because they're so hungry, and that kind of helps with the progress of the entire team.
I came from a team with Mata, Mitch came from a team with Verno, so I think it's a lot of mind games in a sense.
This is definitely the most confident we've been as a team and individually, but whoever's feeling it that day will always have a better chance of winning. Hey guys, it's NRG Sam here with NRG Verno, and today we're playing Never Have I Ever. Let's get into it. Never have I ever deleted a post because it didn't get likes. I have, for sure. But if I don't get above 1,000 likes, I always delete it. After 24 hours? Yeah, I don't know why. Actually, I know why. It hurts my ego.
It was like 3 years ago.
For you?
I got 1 like. Never have I ever forgotten my mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, I think I have.
Never.
I've had for like prac for like 1 day, but then I just like walk back and go get it again. But like, nothing serious.
Always remember it.
Yeah.
It's like the one thing that you need to bring.
Yeah, it's actually the only thing you need to bring. Never have I ever rage quit a game. I feel like every professional esports player has rage quit a game before.
It's all the time.
Yeah, like actually.
Yeah. Never have I ever lied to my coach.
I mean, I probably have, I just don't know when. Actually, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I tell my coach I'm going clubbing every night. And then he's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. But then I'm just like at home playing games. So, all right, guys, that's it for Never Have I Ever. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Deuces.
All right, folks, welcome back to day 2 of VCT Americas Kickoff and our second match of this doubleheader. It's a North American clash between NRG and Cloud9. Of course, I'm Golden Boy here alongside with Mimi and Ender as we break it all down. And, you know, there's so much to talk about with these two teams because they've had some interesting off seasons.
And I mean, even before that, they had an interesting past, right? The last time we saw these teams play was the choke from NRG. 9 rounds in a row lost to not make playoffs, dropping out of the season there. But now they're back with a new roster.
Yeah, and that is crazy. I forgot all about that. I ejected that from my brain because of what happened, and I'm sure NRG did as well, probably.
Like, we thought Finesse and Sam were going to stay streamers, and then they make the decision to come back to NRG again this year.
And then it didn't quite make the workout, you know? But then, honestly, like what we saw from NRG in this offseason was also just extra madness on top because now they're coming in as pretty heavy favorites, I think, in the kickoff tournament to a lot of people. But the journey they made to actually get here. This is the last 2 years, right? Going from the Demon 1 roster over the course to, you know, dropping Demon 1, Sam and FNS joining into the team. But this offseason is where it got wild. Crashies goes to Europe to play for Fnatic, and then Chet and Victor leave the team. And the Chet drama this offseason was just like, pull out the popcorn. It was wild. Him and Bangkok are like, you know, jabbing each other over online. Chet's talking about chicken nugget salaries to the point where I'm at this event at the NRG Castle where Andy Miller, NRG's owner, after they've let Chet go, is feeding him chicken nuggets. And Chet showed up for that. I'm like, what is going on here?
These people are masochists.
Like, why are they still stepping into the same room?
And
it's wild.
Bangkok as well saying in an interview about Chet that what makes him different, I actually know the game, was his answer.
Oh, dear.
Prompting the chicken nugget controversy.
Okay, well, you know, it's funny because I've known Bangkok for a while, actually.
Yeah.
I worked on Paladins when Bangkok was a competitor in that game.
You're the one guy who remembers.
Well, hey, you know, there's dozens of us. But the thing is, though, is that it's crazy to see how far this is all, like, you know, devolved into Ender. And now here we are, and both of these teams are kind of in similar.
Well, this super turbulent offseason turned into a massive success for NRG. They did super well at the Sin City Classic, winning that. And then the Soup League, I think, is where it was really popping off for them.
And the Soup League, in my opinion, was the most legit off-season
And what is
event.
the Soup League for people who may not have watched that?
Yeah, it's what used to be Africa TV. They were putting on an invitational in Korea. They invited
I had
teams
no
like
idea that they rebranded.
yeah, like Gen G. I mean, they played against some of the best teams in the world, and they won that event. Also winning against some of NA's best in Sun City, which you mentioned.
Yeah, honestly, to me, like watching this NRG team play in the offseason, whether it was Finesse's calling, running a lot of really cool fake ideas in their games in that tourney, to Verno stepping on the stage and being an absolute behemoth. Like, this team has the legs, I think.
And then you have this redemption arc story for Finesse and some now with a roster that they got to build from the ground up with a new coach alongside them, and then joining in a world champion, Ethan, who's obviously good friends with those guys as well. And to me, this team is the expectation is top 2. Like, if they are not making Bangkok, I think that's a failure for NRG.
Wow, that's hefty because
we said that last year.
I was going to literally say that sentence, sir.
Well done.
Well done. I was going to be like, because I'm pretty sure, like, when Demon 1 was on the team, we were like, this team's got to be top 2. And where were they? I don't remember, honestly.
They were top 4. They missed it by one game.
They were. But even then, though, it took a long time to get there. A lot had happened to get to that point. It was wild stuff, though. But ahead of this matchup, our incredible interviewer, Rivington, managed to catch up with one of the newest additions to NRG. Here's Mata.
I'm in the NRG practice room here with Mata. You've been in the Valorant scene for so long, now starting VCT, but with debuting with the likes of FNS, Ethan, Sam. How are you feeling about this? What are your expectations?
You know, pretty, no expectations. Everything's pretty straightforward. No pressure, nothing. Pretty troll team. Very,
Yeah, it's you. It's you.
Wait, what? Oh, yeah, no, it's a pretty troll team, very light environment, so there's not really any pressure. The guys made me feel pretty welcome, and yeah, happy to be here.
Boom, there you go. That's your interview.
Is Mata the interviewer?
Wait, I like how Mata was like, the interview started off normally, and then out of nowhere, give me the mic.
He grabbed it and then doesn't know what to say.
Good Chad. And you know what's going to happen? In the middle of a game, if he starts not liking Finesse's calling, all of a sudden, give me the mic.
Give me the mic.
It's me.
This guy, though, I'm so excited to watch. I think he's going to be one of the top rookies for 2025 in Americas. Playing in Challengers last year, he was pretty consistently like a top 3, maybe even best duelist in NA Challengers back then. His mechanical skill is incredible, and it's going to be so sick to get to see him have a shot on the Americas stage now.
Counterpoint, Verno's the GOAT.
Well, and I'm so glad you mentioned Verno, because you mentioned earlier as well, Mimi, that FNS had handpicked this roster, built this squad from the ground up. Here's what he had to say about Verno a year ago.
I genuinely believe that Verno is a top 5 player in North America. I'll explain my thought process though, because I know it's a very hot take and it's a very controversial thing to say, considering this guy's never played at a tier 1 level yet. But one, I know when I watch a player what he is capable of doing, and he does it on a consistent basis. That's just my personal opinion. But it's not just his ability, it's the fact that to do it as consistently as he does it on the agents that he does it, he's literally mini Crashies, actually. And I think if he was placed on a franchise roster right now, he would dominate. Obviously, he's not going to be a top 5 player in the world because he's not going to be in a franchise team. But if he was in a franchise team, I guarantee he would be a top 5 player in NA. If I was making a team, I would get that guy right away.
And it turns out he did. He did just that. And look, folks, I'm coming into this one, blind, because I want to know what we're going to be getting here. And apparently, Verno, I have been told, is the truth.
He's absolutely the truth. And while also so far all we've seen is very small sample size playing against tier 1 competition, in that Soup League, this guy was absolutely dominating. In that final versus Gen G, he's 56 kills to 22 deaths. Unreal. And honestly, the clips I'm seeing when he's top fragging on these scout initiators, like he's top fragging on Sova, it's reminding me of a rookie Trent that was dominating servers on his own. I think Verno is next up.
You say Trent, the name that comes to mind for me is Leo, right? Like, he is up there with the best initiator players in the world. His util was on point, specifically when he's playing Sova. He has excellent shock darts, his timing, playing around that refresh on the recon, it's always perfect.
Ultimates, too, are just spot on.
Insane, and that's very Trent-esque, but his just aim and mechanics are out of this world. He looks very calm when he's shooting. He's consistently hitting clips, and I think, bar none, he was the MVP of that final in the Soup League, and that's a big team. That's Gen G he was playing against.
It really is fascinating how all this has kind of come to fruition for NRG, and now they find themselves in a position with a squad that could very well dominate the region. But now let's go ahead and shift over to Cloud9, their opponents. And well, I think actually, rather than us set it up, why don't we have our good friends Ethan and Baby set this one up.
Talking about what's going on with Cloud9 again. Oof. I feel like this is just the never-ending IGL swap. You said it earlier. Would you say it was like the IGL graveyard?
Yeah. You join that team as an IGL, you have a life expectancy of like 3 months, bro.
But you know what the thing with that team is? You might have a chance to come back.
That's
true.
You know
what I mean?
That's
like, they might bring you back.
Yeah.
And you know what? Baby Bay actually was kind of right on that one because we need some visual aids for this because Cloud9 had a very, very hectic, controversial offseason.
Yeah.
What do we have here?
Well, I just love that we got like the really professional thing for NRG, and this one, we got some floating heads we're going to be working with. So right here, this is what Cloud9 were playing with last year, right? Vanity, Rooney, you got Oxy starting to pop off, but that offseason started off with a classic C9 maneuver. Everyone's heard of plus Rooney, minus Rooney, plus Rooney, minus Rooney. You know what? They did it again. They got him out of there.
That's Moose.
Wait, I just killed Moose.
He's not gone
God,
yet.
Moose. Sorry, Vanity also I killed. I didn't kill Vanity.
So who did they add? And
dropped him.
You're already going crazy.
I'm going a little bit crazy right here. That's okay. Of course, we ended up bringing in Vic and Mitch to play in their stead.
But Mitch was just a stand-in at this time. This was playing the Red Bull home ground qualifier. They won that. They looked good, but this is under the assumption that he wasn't going to be staying.
Because they always wanted Rossi, right? So it's like, okay, let's bring in Rossi.
New IGL, fragging player, and it goes really well in those first couple tournaments. They struggle at Sun City Classic, but then they go on a run, make it to the finals of Red Bull home ground in Berlin.
Yeah, and it looked real nice for them.
So this is the roster, right?
Well, it's not the roster because of course we ended up having Moose play in that spotlight event, right? Moose was playing there, and then they were like, actually, what if?
But they didn't even kill him first.
Well, they didn't kill him first. Who'd they kill, Mimi?
Rossi.
Oh my God, they killed Rossi. Yeah, they instantly got rid of Rossi.
You're already losing your train.
Look, I don't even think C9 knew what was happening in the offseason. There were players, their heads flying left and right.
Okay, so minus Rossi, who did they add? No, they had.
Well, you got his face.
That was a test, and you failed. Now Mitch is the IGL. That's controversial already, but surely the roster is.
Oh, I remember that guy. I casted him.
And then Moose doesn't diffuse in Spotlight, so he's gone.
No.
For reasons. I don't think that's the reason why, but that's what happened.
Yes. And this is a month before now where they remove him. They had Net back in, who's now.
He's over Moose. Moose can hang out there.
Moose is gone.
Whatever. Well,
and
now Net's falling off.
This is a good representation of what happened this offseason.
Yeah, and the mastermind.
Of course.
We have Emmy. So we don't know what any of this means because we saw C9 play a lot of games, but with 18 million different rosters. So who knows how good they'll be because we've never seen them play yet.
And the context is, the community hated this. You guys at home were pissed about every move that C9 made in the offseason, especially with the removal of Rossi and Moose. So, yet again, C9 is starting a season with a dark cloud over their team. But the question is, did Imi make the right call? Was there some mastermind move behind the madness?
It's hard to say because we haven't seen that evidence yet. And really, comparing these two teams, they had a similar trajectory, like drama in the offseason, lots of different roster moves, but NRG have proven that they are legit. C9, I don't know. They're like really in dire straits for me personally.
Both teams, right? They went out to try and find very strong prospects, found those prospects, but it seems like whatever happened in that communication or whatever happened in that, finding process didn't really pan out for them. Whereas for NRG, they ran away with it. I mean, look at who they managed to pick up.
For sure, but you still have Oxy, who was one of the all-stars last year in Americas.
That's true.
You're bringing in Vic, a really, really potent talent coming up from Tier 2. Like, this roster, if they started with it, it would have had potential. But because of the roster moves, they are clouded in this strange aura coming into
Actually,
the year.
Vanity can't even. He's like playing CS now. Hold on.
Well, let's go ahead and get some clarity, why don't we, on this whole situation and hear from Coach Imi himself and hear what he had to say to Rivington.
I am hanging with Imi before their first kickoff game, and I have to ask, I know you've been getting this one a lot, but you got 2 players from the core of Old T9 returning, you got 1 recent, and a few new players coming into the mix. Are you feeling unlocked? What do you think about these changes? Are you feeling good?
I've mentioned this like 17 times now, but it's really good. It's really good. I've got no regrets about the changes. Everyone's on the same wavelength. We're all striving to push each other. So I think this is going to be a really good year for us.
What do you feel like is the strongest part about this team that you haven't seen in other iterations?
Just being able to set the culture, all working on the culture together, make sure we're super professional. And like I said, everyone just pushing each other to be better.
Can't wait to see it. Thanks, Imi.
Well, you want to talk about pushing the culture to make sure everything's nice and positive. One guy that's actually going to be a big part of that is probably going to be Oxy, his energy, the way that he performs. And on top of that, too, I mean, the guy's an absolute freak in the server.
Yeah, he is the guy that Cloud9 fed their energy off of last year. Very stoic in that image, but when he's in the server...
Stoic.
Okay, my bad. Dude, I'm not Marcus Aurelius. I don't know everything, man.
Wow, okay.
Talk about the player.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Oxy's really okay. Truthfully, last year, remember, like we were doing there was all those jokes about Oxy's not actually thinking for himself and Vanity's doing everything, and then now there's no Vanity actually behind him. So we were joking, be like, who's actually going to think for him? At that Spotlight series, I was actually really impressed to hear how much he was actually calming in server. Like him and Alexis were doing the majority of the calling for that C9 Shopify crossover team. So I actually gained a lot of respect for him as a player in terms of his game knowledge, because we already knew he was cracked, but he was doing a lot of calling work, and that makes me think there's an even longer career ahead of him beyond just being the cracked duelist.
People really hated on Seppa this offseason too, but he's another really vocal player who I think keeps that core that C9 once had together.
Yeah, I could not agree more. This is going to be an exciting match no matter how you shake it up, because you got NRG versus Cloud9, 2 teams that had tumultuous off seasons, but now it's time to put up or shut up. Let's go ahead and bring them out to the stage.
Riot Games Arena, it's time for a North American showdown from 2 of our finest. Give it up for NRG!
I actually can't believe it! NRG entering the stage. The Chicken Nuggets have the Money in the Bank contract and they're about to cash it. What in the WWE is this? This is amazing. NRG make their way out to the stage, a squad that everyone should be fearing coming into the season. But we'll see, of course, whether or not they can put up the results that they found in that offseason. But it's certainly going to be exciting. They're throwing out chicken nuggets. They got chicken nuggets in the box, bro. What?
That's unbelievable.
Yeah, okay, NRG have 1 walkouts for the rest of time, I think.
Sorry, Boaster. I don't know if you're going to be able to top that one, pal. Wow. Wild. I'm honestly shocked that we got, the W. You couldn't have the golden arches, but you can have the golden W.
And you know what? I think Bankar officially reversed the ratio with that one.
He did.
And now, let's bring out their opponent. Make some noise for Cloud9!
And Cloud9 make their way out to the stage, as we were talking about before, this squad in the offseason and what they had to overcome, but they're here to play, and you got some really talented players on the stage. We were just highlighting Oxy and what he brings to the table, and just across the board, I'm excited to see what Cloud9 can do this year.
Yeah, you have Mitch coming back into the fold, Net returning to VCT Americas as well after being dropped from the guard, and there's a lot of chances for these these players to prove themselves and for the team to prove that this was the right direction, that the risks they took, the decisions they made in the offseason were the right call for Cloud9.
But Nate, make no mistake, like expectations coming into this matchup from the offseason alone, a lot of the community, pros, whatever, you're going to be thinking this is a David versus Goliath type situation. NRG coming in super, super hot for C9. It's their first competitive game with this roster they'll be fielding today, and people just don't really have a ton of faith in what they're going to be pulling out.
But I will say, though, in a similar vein to what we saw Furia kind of go through in match 1, you can kind of maybe give a little bit of, like, tip the hat, if you will, to C9, because yes, there's expectations, yes, fans want them to perform, but, you know, coming into this, so many things happen that you kind of just got to go out there and just figure it out.
The issue is that Furia was playing against a team that was making their debut on an American stage, that didn't have experience over here in America now. NRG was playing more off-season events than most of the rest of the Americas teams. They won both big events they participated in. I think they've done basically the best job they could in the off-season to get their rookies ready for the Americas stage and come in prepared to today.
Well, here goes your series layout, and you got Fracture, courtesy of NRG, and then we have Lotus and Bind, if necessary.
Finesse was cooking in the Soup event. I think about them playing on Abyss, where he's pulling out this Vice Euro comp with a lot of really well thought through ideas there. I would expect almost something similar. I think Vice is viable on Fracture. I think Tejo is super strong on this map as well. There's so much room for creativity.
It's all of those super explosive, you know, early round comp ideas you can run. It's interesting though, because looking at Fracture, has getting a lot of play in EMEA. Yeah. They've actually really liked some double Sentinel ideas, whether that's with Sage or Vice thrown into the mix. Now, I don't expect that to be the read from our Americas teams. They've never been as thrilled about the double Senti outside of like the Ascent stuff, and especially in Tier 2. And on a map like Fracture, I think we're going very explosive.
Reminder what Tejo does to Killjoys in these compositions, and as soon as we're talking about creativity,
evil geniuses.
It's EG from 2023 back again.
And Verno's Sova. I am telling you, Verno Sova is going to be the pick to watch this year. He is fantastic.
A lot of pressure on that young man, but he has lived up to the moments when they needed him in the past. But here comes the change on the other side for C9.
Double smoke, no breach, Mimi.
That's really interesting. I didn't expect a lot of teams to run solo Tejo. I feel like he pairs very well with that breach, can pair with other initiators as well.
They're playing no flashes. I don't know.
All right, folks, well, it's time to send it over to your casters. You can ban TikTok, but you'll never silence Doug and Baby Bay.
That might be true. Actually, I'm not sure. I feel like if the Senate decided that we were going to get banned or the Supreme Court decided so, we'd be out. It would be over. Speaking of getting cooked and things being over, Mimi mentioned it on the desk. The Tejo as a counter to the Killjoy. We can talk about the Sova, and I think Verno obviously is a player we need to watch, but that interaction is what I'm most curious to see.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting because there already is such limited spots to play on these sites as it is, right? So I think you're going to have to expect some very unconventional play, maybe playing a lot of retake style from the side of NRG in this matchup.
I mean, Fracture, the map kind of lends itself to that as well. So we'll see how things play out. We are guaranteed to have a very good match. Again, for NRG, there's just so much pedigree there, and it is time for Samsung to start match. Load up fast with Samsung SSDs. Cloud9 starting on the attacking side. I want to very quickly mention what we were talking about previously. For Finesse, he's said it publicly in the offseason. This is likely his last year. Now he has the team that he wanted to put together to make a championship run, and that has to start today.
Yeah, but it almost just feels like it's too soon. Why not continue this on for more, surely?
So much towards B already, and keep a close eye on the minimap. There's a flank coming in from the northern side. Meanwhile, Zappa getting bested by Sam. That kill looked secure. It looked done, but it doesn't go his way. Cloud9 still finding a little bit of space, though. 3 remaining on the defense, and one of them with a dink already.
One suppressed.
A lot of info gathered. A great nade from Oxy, getting 3 into the round.
That kid's already shooting. Ethan had nowhere to go. A great pistol for Cloud9.
Yeah, very decisive. And the finish, the execution on the actual B side, it looked like Zeppo was even ready to clear Finesse in that little corner. So homework done for Cloud9. And pistol round converted as well. What a great start for this team. And sometimes when you're the underdog like this, you really have nothing to lose.
Yeah, I think for as much as there were questions surrounding this team in the offseason, the one thing that's been answered is that Oxy can still shoot.
Yeah.
The guy is still nuts. 3 kills already to start the map. He's got a stinger in hand this time.
This is something that we've seen quite a bit before in Fracture. For those that haven't watched this map in quite a long time, there's a lot of 4-1s that are done on the attacking side with the Killjoy being solo. And the pack that leads together, ready to trade out like that. Mitch getting 2.
Just pistols, really. I mean, the one benefit, or I guess takeaway for NRG, is they managed to grab 2 ult orbs at the beginning of this round. Mod is still playing back towards Dish, but the spike, all of Cloud9, with intentions towards B.
That little stealth bot running into the actual B site sees nothing, so you could probably deduct that they could be in heaven here, and that's where you're seeing the nade and the Tejo presence. It's huge right now. Verno gets flushed out.
Just full artillery. You've got salvos, you've got grenade. I mean, where do you go? A little fickle dance there with Ethan.
Jeez.
Going the way of the defense. Still just a ghost. The stinger upgraded for the breach. As you see Cloud9 starting to dig their heels in. Still have a couple of rifles to work with. Zep is weak, though. This is taking a little bit of time here. Mada's just now getting back to B.
Yeah, I think NRG want to die to the spike here. Maybe get a stun out on somebody, catch them lacking. Make it so they can't exit. I mean, if they can get one of these Phantoms out of the hands of Cloud9, that would be more than ideal.
Yeah, that's a win.
Footsteps are made. There's that stun that I was mentioning. It does delay Zeppa for a little bit.
Player standing.
That's 1 kill found.
That's Phantom.
Yeah, and they're not going to be able to recover that. You're right.
So yeah, an ult orb goes the way of Cloud9, but nobody really close to their ultimates besides Oxy, I believe, and a very successful anti-eco round from the side of NRG. But I do like the approach from Cloud9. Yeah, just everybody having their back. Mitch over there playing anti-stun.
Yeah, he was the only one who doesn't get tagged.
Yeah, and this is that utility that we saw in Heaven here. I mean, you cannot play this side of the map. That's the power of the Tejo and the Rays together.
And so into the next you go. Now NRG with rifles. Light armor on 2 members, and Cloud9 again with intentions towards B.
And a very healthy buy, Doug. Yeah, it's light armor across the board, but everyone really has a Phantom besides Net.
My brother, there is nowhere that you can play in tower. Just not an option. And then once the utility dissipates, Mitch fills the space.
Yeah, this is rough right now. Finesse not having a good time anchoring this B site so far from pistol round to now.
I don't know that they're going to get through this. Mitch is weak.
Yeah.
But are they at a point where they're saving already?
Yeah, it just feels like that's the icing on the cake with the spam of the Phantom through the smoke. And this is the power of the Cloud9 composition. If they're able to get on the actual site, now you have to retake with 2 controllers on the other end. I mean, everything's going to be smoked off. You have to run through blindly. Yeah, you have some of Ethan's utility, but spamming on this map is so prevalent. That's why you see these Phantoms coming out from multiple players of Cloud9. 3 on the board.
A bonus being converted there for Cloud9 is huge.
Yeah, what a great start to this first map of Fracture by Cloud9. Winning the bonus round. That's like half of the battle right there.
That just sets you up so well for the rest of the half.
I mean, after this highlight, it's that spam that I was talking about. No chance at all. But look at the money from the side of Cloud9, and they're still staying on that light armor. Like, they could totally invest in full armor right now and be okay, but they're looking for the long haul right now.
Well, if B's not broken, no reason to fix it. And so with that in mind, Cloud9 go again. There's a little bit more of a defensive presence here, though, as Sam gets the opener in the round.
Yeah, but 1 for 1, and then who got taken out, right? Sam.
No smokes.
That's no smokes now on the board for NRG. Now you have to face check. That's why FNS is trying to take peeks. He's so worried.
Target destroyed.
Repositioning Yao back towards tower. He's got a smoke he can clear around. That's a spike in hand. You've got to be careful there. Mitch will fall, and the spike will join him. They're going to have to flood back in. Either take the fight or go to get the spike back. With numbers away of the defense and an ult in the hands of Mada, this could get dangerous. This could get messy.
The This flank is going to be so perfect for Mata.
Vic carefully and quietly makes his way back to the payload, grabs the spike, now turns his attention towards the site. But again, NRG are poised. They're posted up and surrounded, ready to go. Off of the tap, not fully committing to the bait. Now Vic committing to it.
Spike planted.
What's the cue for them to go? Ned's gone exploring. He's going to take Verno down. What a shot. Now Mata on the trade. Ult now pops. Satchel forward, finds a target. Can he find another? Zeppa's going to trade it back, leaving Ethan in a 1v1. Overheals for just a little bit. Takes the swing, and Ethan ends out on top.
It was close, Doug. Ethan. Some extra pop shots on the body there to Zeppa. But it wasn't pretty from the side of NRG. Net, he made such a fantastic play, pushing into spawn right there, getting proactive in that post plant.
In an awkward timing. Right? You wouldn't expect him to be pushing up at that point. I think that's what got Verno.
Not at all. And Verno, he's been so sharp all contender season, all off season even. For him to get caught sleeping behind the wheel like that is very rare. But the thing is once Verno gets in tune, it could just be over.
Striking pretty dissonant chords right now. But again, still plenty of Valorant to be played. An ult in the hands of Vic. And this is a different look from the attack.
Very aggressive.
That's messy. Mata will fall. The ult has been used. Oxy on the swing. And Ethan dead. They're going to try to speed up around this, understanding they may have them crunched, but they're just waltzing into their deaths.
That Brim ultimate from Vic was perfect to counter the play. That aggressiveness from NRG. And NRG, they've been kind of making it obvious that they're fighting behind this breach utility, so that's why it's invested from the side of Vic. Verno just has to save. He got an orb before. But I'm not seeing too much value so far on this defensive side with the Sova from NRG.
Yeah, it's still early days, but you're right. They haven't been able to do a ton.
I haven't really seen many scans or even a chance to really use it on the retake. I mean, he got taken out by Net there.
I do like the way Cloud9 have approached the beginning of this map. Even for as much as we've talked about their aggression towards B, how they like to play around the northern side, completely different look here from the attack, and NRG walked right into what they wanted.
Yeah, they were holding for that the entire time. It's like they just had the intuition that it was going to be made.
Right.
And you don't really lose anything when you default like that either. You understand of the way that NRG has been using this breach utility to showcase the control that they're trying to take in the beginning of the round. And Sova Dart as well. I mean, on the defensive side, you want the info. You want to know where the attackers are going. So if you just wait and spawn, at the very least, you eliminate all that utility, and then you can make your move. In this case, you're ready for a counterpunch. On the defensive side, you want the info. You want to know where the attackers are going. So and now look at the ultimates on the field right now for Cloud9, Doug.
They have plenty.
4-1 approach from Cloud9 once more. And NRG, they are on pistols, so I don't know if Cloud9 really want to invest a Tejo ult or a Raze rocket into this round. If they could have it for the next gun round and break the economy again of NRG, that would be more than ideal. It's so quiet on the map right now.
And Cloud9's not really showing anything. A scan towards A.
Oh, that smoke is to block off what could have been a turret.
And you can hear a pin drop right now. Finally.
There's the contact, but it's too late with the breach stun. Sam already gets taken out, and then it's a freeze.
It is just pistols, as you said. Verno's the only one with a rifle.
But they're so patient. They're so cautious. Cloud9 do not want to give away anything.
I think, again, this is showing some of the dynamic calling that's coming out from Cloud9. Not only have they shown different looks, but they've shown different pace.
Destruction across this B site.
Nowhere is safe. Nowhere is safe right now for Ethan. Or Mata, for that matter.
Yeah.
Cloud9 subverting all expectations except perhaps their own, as they're up 4 early.
Yeah. And they still have all those ultimates online and available for this round. If you win another round like this, you break the economy once again of NRG, furthering the snowball. That was that little insta-kill. I like the ideas from NRG, though. They're trying to set up these traps based off the breach stun. The problem is Cloud9 are too sharp right now. They're hitting the shot before the utility is able to land.
Yeah, the timing just feels off. You're right. I mean, at least in that scenario, it did. But again, I've got to give credit and I've got to give kudos to the way Mitch and the rest of Cloud9 have approached the beginning of Fracture.
And they haven't really even dabbled at A at all. What happens, Doug, when they start dabbling towards that A side of the map?
Yeah, they've only played half the map. You're right.
They've literally only gone B. So it's very, very scary signs for NRG early on here. Because once Cloud9 do decide to run some fakes towards that A site or commit, it's just tough. Let alone the ults you're going to have to face in this round. You cannot play in sight. And Cloud9 know that. They're going to use that to their advantage. They're going to expect some aggressiveness from NRG. If you play too far back, that Tejo ultimate, that Armageddon is going to come for you.
I wondered if we would see something different, maybe something towards A, and that does seem like what NRG is expecting, at least with some of their Sentinel utility. But again, Cloud9 towards B. You mentioned the ults they have with them. Early smoke, flash traded, jarred out, not tagging. They're tucking inside of it, but they understand that's where the threat's coming from. That satchel was so good, but Zeppa still falls. Now popping the ult, has to be aggressive, has to take the fight, finds one, but him ultimately does fall anyway. They're investing the ult too. I mean, perhaps a bit overkill, but again, they got everything they wanted.
It's just a decimation on the board right now. That satchel from Mata was so good to stop the showstopper from Oxy. But it's the spacing. Vic, he's so sharp right now when he swings out behind Oxy. It's the power of the Clove as well. It's basically like a pseudo-duelist. Zeppa, he drops right there to the Raze native Mata, but then he's able to swing out again with that second chance. Another save from the side of NRG.
I was on the other side of a timeout as well.
Yeah, this is very rough right now. This is on NRG's map pick. This is a map that Finesse basically innovated on. He made a meta on this map, really made it his. You remember the Neon with Victor.
You know, what's interesting is given how this map has gone, you would not think that it was Cloud9 who had just finalized their roster less than a month before the season started.
Yeah.
They look great. They look good. They look great.
Yeah, they've definitely cooked on this map with this composition so far. And we were talking about the Tejo, about how, you know, kind of, it doesn't feel like it's a make it or break it in this meta so far. It's more niche and how you play around it. So far, Cloud9 have played around it fantastically on this map of Fracture. And the double smokes, too, to just isolate certain fights that you want. Now we're dabbling in A.
Yeah, they're finally going towards A, and they're not being quiet about it. A couple footsteps made, the drone, which I've seen a couple of times. But that's all they've shown up until now.
Both Clove Smokes invested onto that site.
Now they know. That should be the cue. The nade, the salvos, everything there. Finesse getting satcheled upon, but it's actually a little bit of friendly fire that takes down the duelist. And that might be the opening that they need as Verno comes alive. Zeppa and Ned have arrived at the scene. Zeppa's got 3 on the round. Hang on, they've taken this thing back. Can he get it on his own? He's found some, but the shots delivered from the defense as NRG get their second.
Zeppa is in form right now. Yeah, the friendly fire happens in the beginning, but the recovery was almost perfect. He's sitting at 12-6. Thank God for Sam. If you're an NRG fan, he really clutched it out at the end right there, because that would be a dagger in the back of NRG had it not gone that way. Look at these shots, man. A little bit of relief.
Well, I feel like we've been here before. I am being told it's a keyboard issue, which hopefully means that it will be a quick fix. But yeah, we've got a little tech pause again.
Let's keep the streak going, man.
I'd rather not. I don't want this streak. This is not what I had in mind.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, I didn't lie to you guys this time. We are going back in. It was fast. The situation has been fixed. And we are once again stepping into Fracture, where Cloud9 have really run circles around NRG. But after the heroics from Sam and now 4 ults to play around, maybe there's some room.
Yeah, good chance right here to bring some momentum back into your favor for NRG.
Ult popped, 1 found. Do you understand there's more against Zeppa? He can be the tip of the spear when he's got a second lease at life, and he gets a kill on Mata.
He's good. He's here for the rest of the round. He's here to stay. 4v5 on a map like this when you're on the defensive side, you kind of have to gamble. You cannot be spread thin. You can't play a 2-and-2 style.
No, it just changes their entire approach.
But the thing is, with complete control of that top side, that dish area, and that turret being down towards the bottom of A main, you have all the info in the world. Now you're able to split A for free. You have the numbers game. You could contact in here. Even if there are members of NRG here, you're going to get the trades. It's a free site.
Right, which there are not. The site is entirely vacant. I think the question now becomes, how much is NRG willing to invest in this retake attempt? They have a lot of key ults, but they are down in numbers and in the score.
Yeah.
This half can get out of hand very quickly if they're not careful. Once again, Oxy just barely ahead of the timing with Zeppa over his shoulder. There's the swing. Ethan falls. Again, it seems like Cloud9 are just barely a step ahead. And that step is proving to be all the difference.
Forget about the ults when you're proactive in the post plant like that.
That's 2 situations now where we've seen it.
And you have to. Cloud9 are playing the right game right now. You see the ultimates on the side of NRG. The Killjoy ultimate, the Breach ultimate, Sova ult. Don't let them set up. Don't give them an inch to breathe.
One enemy remaining.
And now it's hunting season for Net. I've always been so impressed with the way that Net is able to find lurk timings on almost every single map. And it felt like for a little bit of time, Net's confidence was a little bit far gone, but I think joining a roster like this, getting a second chance of life, it can make it or break it for certain players.
Had your fun. My turn.
You imagine the frustration of being down as far as you are. You finally feel like you have found a little bit of footing. You get an opening kill, and then Clove happens.
Yeah.
And it's all gone.
And now Oxy,
Standing ahead.
he does have that Outlaw in hand. A lot of light armors on play right now for the side of NRG.
It's a south side crunch for them too. But Cloud9 are ahead of it.
Yeah, they read into it again.
Stim beacon here.
And so they're going to get out onto B with relative ease.
Yeah, with Heaven being cleared, it's kind of obvious. And Zeppa's already setting up for the disruption. It's going to be the head-to-head against Finesse here in Underpass. What is that shot from Vic?
It's another slaughter. And again, the NRG aren't even allowed the opportunity to wonder on whether or not they should invest some of these big ults. They've gotten a run at it. Verno does have a rifle. And Zeppa is weak. Position now given away. Full set of utility. Takes a quick step back. Spike not playing it yet. Verno having to play this borderline perfectly if he wants to pull this off. And it's desperately needed for NRG. Can he make the magic happen? No. That's Zeppa with 4 and Cloud9 with 8.
The way that Cloud9 is slotting into these positions right now, it looks so effortless. And it really does look like they're 1, maybe 2 steps ahead of NRG at the moment. And I just feel like NRG playing this Sova Breach composition, they're so limited on what they can do. And it makes it a little bit obvious. And the problem is when it's so obvious like that, you kind of want to make an aggressive play, but Cloud9, they're thwarting it.
The NRG money's still bad.
This map can be so tough when you're getting snowballed. just like this. I mean, nothing really going your way. You're losing almost every single aim duel.
Oxy's still running that outlaw.
Ha. And look, reach flash, dart used towards that lower side of the map, and net, he gets out of dodge, so a lot of info gain right now for Cloud9. That's why you see the prodding up into that dish area.
Psalm found a lot of success with the Sheriff in the previous round. Not able to connect there. We'll still have a shot at it though. The spike makes its noise towards B and now rotates out.
Yeah, they get it. They got the 2 kills there. They know that NRG are probably going to want to compensate. Let's go the other way now. But they might miss their timing here.
No, Cloud9 look like they're ahead of the rotations, and even if they weren't, they have the barrage of utility that will allow it to work. A spam into the smokes.
30 seconds left.
And the team out on the site. I mean, is there even really a possibility here?
Not anymore.
They really have no choice but to sit back and wait. Ethan on the peak off the stun. The line giving up, and it's not a problem when it's pulled back in like that. I said this earlier, and I really want to draw attention to it again. This Cloud9 roster wasn't even finalized up until about a month ago.
Oxy finishes the round. And here's the thing, yeah, there was a lot of drama. Rossi was definitely a heavy hitter for this roster before having to leave, but when you watched Mitch play in that Seattle event, that Red Bull Gaming event, he looked so good, it looked so fluid. That's why they won. His IGLing was so good in that moment. And IGLs have been, you know, the focal point of Cloud9.
Big round here. Again, we've been sitting on this ticking time bomb that's been the NRG ults. Last round of the half, they finally have guns, they finally have money. The problem is Cloud9 have an abundance of their own. A lot of Sentinel utility towards B.
Yeah, just watch how Cloud9 methodically clear out all these angles so they don't have to worry about it.
You should run.
A very nicely timed attack and killjoy ult. That'll bait out the Sova ultimate from Verno though.
Remember now, Finesse has one of his own, but again, Tejo's utility single-handedly counters all of that. The side has been carpet bombed between the ult, between the salvos. Finesse uncomfortably trying to find space to breathe and live, and does. And now Cloud9 frees the round.
And Seppa dodges the drone as well, so no real info gathered from NRG. A false sense of security.
Vic also with the ult. This round will not seemingly be decided by the ult. It's going to be these first couple of kills. Now you see Sapphire forwards out from Oxy. He spotted one, not able to see the second. Sam on the trade. And now ult invested. Seppa takes some damage, but still swings out and gets Sam.
And he has ult now.
I mean, the advantage that they had is gone. Cloud9 very comfortably in position to close out this half. They still have Vic's ult. Zeppa can play this very patiently. Off the satchel, still not able to get the kill. He will fall. But with the spike ticking away and Cloud9 still with the numbers advantage, this feels like a done deal.
Look at all this post-plant utility. They still have Brim ultimate too, like you said.
Player standing.
It's just not fair right now. NRG are getting bullied in the server on their map pick Fracture.
What an outrageously impressive half out from Cloud9.
Doug,
you gotta give credit where it's due, man. That was impressive.
I had the chance to talk to Imi a bit about how much time he's been putting in. He was talking something about 18-hour days, and it's showing. This game plan going into this map so far has been impeccable.
I absolutely believe that. A 10-2 half the way of Cloud9. They rolled them. They rolled them in every way you could possibly think of and imagine, and I don't know that there's much room for comeback, but we'll see if that's the case. We'll be right back.
Red Bull gives you wings.
To half the way of Cloud9, and Zeppa quietly put up, what, 20 kills? 19, 20 kills in that half? An outrageous performance, really from top to bottom for Cloud9.
He almost had an ace in that half as well. It was so close. It was down to the wire. Sam just barely connecting on the headshot.
And that was what, one of 2 rounds that NRG won.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been brutal so far from the side of NRG. You have to win pistol. There's no other choice at this moment. If you lose pistol here, it's most likely done. GG, go next map, which is Lotus, a Cloud9 special, right? The bread and butter. I do have to say, out of all the teams I've seen in VCT so far play the Tejo, I think Cloud9 have made it look the best on this map of Fracture. I'm a big fan so far.
We'll see what it looks like on defense. Most of the hit is headed his way. A dart flash combo to secure a little bit of info and a little bit of space.
It's just so scary, Doug, because if you go into heaven here, those rockets, if they come out in the right timing.
Well, the problem is they're going to have to accelerate somewhere because they're nipping at their heels. They're pushing in from the northern side. Mitch has already fallen. There's nowhere to go but forward.
Zeppa, no signs of slowing down.
Ethan able to get one onto Vic. Mada's pushing into the smoke. They're going to be able to get out onto spawn. But Sam had to be careful there. Again, net proactive, Cloud9 proactive. The thing is, they've traded places. 3 members remain on the side of NRG. Verno with the ghost and light armor. As Oxy waits in the smoke with a little bit of regen, gets caught outnumbered. Net on his own with the classic in hand. A tap of the spike. Draws out the utility, trying to settle shots onto Ethan, and he can't. The ever desperately needed pistol for NRG goes their way.
Yeah, and it was looking good for Cloud9 too. It looked like they were going to have the full crunch on that side of the map. But the speed up from Mada and Verno onto the actual B site. It was too clean, the crunch, after FNS gets taken out. See the replay of that, pushing through the smokes right here. Mada heating up. Is it enough though? Look at this investment from NRG into this round. You have a Stinger, you have 2 players on Ghost.
Careful there.
Things could get very tricky here if you take some chip damage from the utility on the side of Cloud9.
Finesse might get overwhelmed here. He's got to get out.
It's that chip damage I was talking about. They're running him down right now.
He's going to try to get away.
Barely.
Now it's the second orb being funneled into Mada.
C9 have taken so much map control with so little. All they really had was classics.
Are they expecting this? On the ropes, they are going to spot him. They are going to find him. Oxy falls, Zeppa's on the trade, but again, the weaponry difference is too much for them to overcome.
It's so funny watching this approach. Another one. Mitch is taking the rope now. Stops making noise at the perfect timing, Ethan.
He's looking back.
His spidey senses are tingling.
30 seconds.
The shots were not. At least not that time.
Look at these rockets.
Yeah, they speed up towards B. The rockets were a little late. I mean, intended to delay the rollout onto the site. Mitch falls, and now 2 classics remain.
It was a very timid approach from NRG so far, but it's been proven to be good so far. They do get that spike planted. It's not really in the open for them. They'll probably have to walk out a little bit more if somebody can creep on the site, but I don't think right now Cloud9 want to feed any more ult orbs to Sam or Mata, who are slowly creeping up close. Both 3 away.
You know, for NRG, the plan has been to try to get Mata's ult online, as we've seen how they've handled around the orb, so I think that makes a ton of sense.
Ideally, you'd want to get one up for the bonus round. So C9 have done a great job of not allowing that to happen.
One enemy remaining.
Sam is a little bit closer now. That will probably be a big, big focus into this next round. It's going to be a full buy from both sides, but it's light armor across the board for NRG. And this is something we haven't really seen so much, you know, this tournament so far, this kickoff, is teams investing into light armor like this on the actual gun rounds. Especially with how many Phantoms are in play right now, it seems kind of risky, you know?
We'll see if it pays off. Passive approach from the attack to start the round.
Yeah, just a walkthrough to B main.
That did miss the alarm bot.
And that drone will miss both players on the actual site as well, but they will be aware that no one's on the actual site. This alarm bot not being broken still could be very bad for NRG. If they decide to back off and lean towards A, it's going to be obvious that no one's in B main.
Yeah, the passive info from it still being up, you're right. Nade through, alarm bot goes off as the satchel does too. Now they know, there's no doubts about it. It's a hit towards B. Ethan committing to getting spiked down as Mata's playing it through a jump scare. Gets the best of net. And is now looking for more. Cloud9 pause for just a moment, take a step back, wait. So he can bolster up the approach. They're waiting this a really long time here. Mata's playing in the smoke. Waiting for the challenge, she finds another. That's now twice with 7 bullets left. He's taking a lot of damage, but that swing is good.
Oh man, NRG, they win that round. Mata, I spoke about it earlier, he's heating up. He's feeling it right now. 15 and 11, gets the showstopper online as well. He was finessing around that smoke, right on a knife's edge. And even the way that he crept up to pinch the player running out of heaven right there.
That kill on the Mitch is wild.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And Mitch knows that's gonna happen. He knows the wide swing is inevitable.
The money now broken for Cloud9.
Standing ahead.
We're still 5 rounds between these two teams, but assuming this goes well, we're talking 4. NRG have a shot at a comeback.
And right now, NRG aware that there was a push down B main right there. So it's going to be the speed up on Dish. These are good reactions, good fundamental reactions from the side of NRG.
The drone is so good at clearing out spawn. Can't host drone. They were able to clear out all of the southern side with just that one bit of utility. Now they can look forward, and that's exactly where NRG is. But even with that in mind, they're mowed over.
Yeah, just overwhelmed, outgunned, outmanned. Raise nade will deny the plant.
Just for a moment, but it's inevitable. NRG gets to 6, and now the comeback feels like it's on.
Just seems like both teams have such a good understanding of how to deal with the defensive aggression from each other. The reactions have been so cool to watch from both sides. NRG now in the driver's seat.
And an opportunity, or at least an attempt for Cloud9 to change that and turn those tides a bit, as Amy calls a timeout.
Both teams have struggled with trying to mask where they're being aggressive on the defensive side. I wonder now if Cloud9 take a more standard approach and maybe try to play a little bit more of a retake-y style.
Possibly. I think What I would love to hear from you, though, is what is it that is working for NRG? That's 4 rounds in a row now.
It's just the quick reactions that they're doing based off of the utility that Cloud9 is using in the early round. It's honestly the same thing that we were watching Cloud9 do to NRG themselves. So you have to try to either do mid-round re-clears, or you need to play retake on a site and just play a stack on the other. You have such a big lead. You've amassed such a big lead, a 10-2 half.
I mean, it's
like you could essentially 50-50, and you're bound to get lucky at least once, right?
Right, sure.
Once or twice, get that tie secured at least. Maybe start stacking your ultimates, which it looks like they're going to have some ultimates coming online and available on the defensive side. But they did such a good job on their attacking side to give them this buffer, because when you look at this roster of Cloud9, there's so much young talent here that really at any moment, one of those players could pop off and just take over an entire round.
It's been Zeppa who's done that for most of the map, but hasn't gone quiet since. Had 19 kills at halftime, has only gotten 2 since the flipping of the field.
We didn't get to see it, but we heard it.
That must have been Prius observing if we missed it.
Yeah, we heard it in and out of the server.
There.
And now you kind of have to gamble if you're Cloud9. But do you expose your body again?
I mean, you have to do something to get info, right?
Jeez, the lineup. Mata 3 to the round. He's on fire right now.
I don't know. How does Cloud9 really do anything here?
Player standing.
You don't.
You talk about getting overwhelmed. As soon as those few kills go the way of NRG, they just accelerate. They push the pace.
And I get it from Cloud9. You're down a member very early on. You want to try to even the numbers. But the problem is when you play against NRG, who a lot of people compare to, like, you know, a very Counter-Strike fundamental style, it's a thing in Counter-Strike to wait after you get the first blood and wait for re-aggression. So you kind of have to bide your time even more and understand that. Maybe use utility behind it for the re-clear.
I think as we think about what the rest of the half may hold, again, Cloud9 are broke. And NRG, I mean, they've done almost everything perfectly this half, but one of the things they have managed exceptionally well is how they've handled the eco situations, anti-eco situations. And so if they continue to be as disciplined, we can assume that there's a good chance they get to 8. Yeah. There's got to be something to stop the bleeding here for Cloud9.
It's got to be the ultimates. They're already stacking them. Why not? But it's just, when do you use them when this is happening? That is disgusting.
Off a wide swing, too. That's...
You should have seen what I just did the bitch this round. You see that, Verna?
I love how calm he is as well when he's doing all that. Like, I feel like if that was anybody else, they'd just be popping off. Like, oh, did you see the shot I just hit?
Yeah, the duality of man. Vert,
it's just a guy.
Mata there, and then had Oxy done it.
Should have seen what I did, man.
Cloud9 with the spread approach. NRG with the spike towards the northern side of the map. And Mitch has not used his drone. Off of the stun as the other drone goes forward. Oxy could be in a world of hurt here.
Yeah, Mata slipping by. Nobody spotting him on the cross. He's getting inserted right now.
He does have ult, though. Oxy does. So plenty of firepower to punch back, but it seems like NRG are rotating away.
Yeah, this is a smart play. The double insert, triple insert, actually. If NRG can get these players off of Dish as well, it'll open up the map even more. That break of the dark gives the info to Finesse that there is a player towards that Dish side.
Well, and I think also for Cloud9, it's intended to suggest that that's where the hit's going.
Yeah, a
But
good
they haven't
stun.
moved. There's the stun, there's the ult popped, and it never has a chance to go off! Mata again! Heroics for NRG!
Oh my goodness!
As he continues to push the pace. A man on a mission, single-handedly taking them apart. The man has come to life. Finesse in a tough spot there, but now, again, the tail used. Som finding a little bit of solace, a little bit of safety. As 3's on the round. Spike has been planted. Ethan will fall. There's still an opportunity here, but Mata's going to have to do it on his own if he wants to pull this off. He's spotting Mitch, sees the missiles fly by. Off of the tap, can't take a step back. Now cleared, and now found, spamming into the first. He's got to get onto net, and he cannot. The defuse is stuck as Cloud9 get 11.
Cloud9, they steal this round away, Doug. That should have never happened. FNS, he fumbled the bag right there. It has to be said, it really did come down to that. You would have had numbers advantage. All of a sudden, you play a little bit more disciplined on the actual site. You don't have to peek out heaven. Mata, he did such a good job of busting open this site. But Seppa winning the head-to-head in that main duel, that should never happen. It's not over yet, though.
Perhaps the possibility of a numbers advantage again. That ult could be explosive, but the problem was Zeppa had already been killed. So now he pops his ult. The Raze rocket's negated. He still has to find some sort of damage and cannot.
He did chip down Mata down to 33 HP, though. And Verno down to 68. These are the heavy hitters of this NRG squad. Yeah, Verno's been a little bit quiet on this map. But Mata, he's been anything but that. Down numbers once again for Cloud9. They're getting proactive, clearing out all that top side of the map.
With all of that cleared, and with all of the utility they have towards A, NRG could be walking right into the teeth of this defense.
Yeah, this is so tough. But if Mitch gets picked off here, it could turn the tide for NRG if they decide to go through this door.
Does Net pop a proactive
30
ult?
seconds left.
I mean, there's only 30 seconds left. NRG are going to be left scrambling if they don't speed up. And there's still mollies on site. Look at where the mollies are. It's to deny any plant back site.
This could be disaster for NRG.
Oh, this is tough. The rockets as well.
And we'll delay a little bit longer. Now there's the ult.
Can the nade break it?
I mean, there's nowhere for them to go.
The nade doesn't break it.
There's no good situation for them. He has to commit to the plan, and he can't even do that. Cloud9 again. They're going to get to map point, and they did that in a beautiful way.
What a read from Cloud9. And that's all because of the proactivity. Clearing out all of Dish. The turret was posted up there the whole time. If they go B, it's fine. The gamble was perfect from the side of Cloud9.
NRG calling a timeout here. The ferocious attempt at a comeback that looked so promising has, for all intents and purposes, dissipated.
And the way it's happened, too, it's so rough. I can't imagine what it feels like in the server when something like that happens.
I mean, I hate
You knew you had it.
Yeah, I hate to go back to this, though. If you weren't at a 10-2 half...
Yeah. You're never in this spot in the first place.
Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly.
But the truth is, you're down 10-2 at half. It doesn't matter how great of a comeback it is. You fumble 1 round, 2 rounds, all of a sudden...
Yeah. You got to play perfect.
Yeah.
You're 100% correct, Doug. In Cloud9, even down numbers, it's like what I said. Just gamble a site 50-50. It's okay to go for a re-aggro.
Yeah.
And if nobody's met, I mean, you have the entire map. Sova Ultimate, the only thing online right now for NRG. 1 off of the breach ult, 2 off the breach ult, I should say.
Meanwhile, Vic is just 1 off of his ult, too. Cloud9 have looked really good. Yeah, there's been a smudge on that performance in the beginning of this half, but they've played well enough to close this thing out. Can they do it here? NRG starting to speed up towards A.
And look at the reaction on the mini-map from Cloud9. As soon as all this utility is made, Net is communicating. And Cloud9 push all the way down B main.
That drone was far back enough from Mitch that it didn't clear spawn.
Mm-hmm.
My ult's ready.
The entire B side of the map controlled right now by Cloud9. Now understanding that it is a heavy lean towards A for NRG. Finesse is going to need to go huge here, but there's 3 members on the other end.
You buy time, though, for Verno to clear some space, and maybe you go back B, but you're right, Finesse is in trouble. That's another kill down. The question is now, where do they go off of this?
They have to speed up, but there's, again, trips here. The rockets here.
Everything is here. Amada satcheling forward. Sobol to his face, not connecting on anything yet. Verno dropped.
He got flanked by Oxy, who took the rope.
30 seconds left.
They can't even commit to the plan here. Ethan's been flushed out. Saw him doing his best to contribute. With 20 seconds left, a second attempt at committing the spike down, and again, a second situation where they're flushed out.
So much utility, but Sam, he's the saving grace right now.
He's gotten another. Mada's joined the fray. Now Ethan, third time is a charm, manages to get the spike down. Zeppa on the swing. Bets Mada, and now the Rolling Thunder push them back to buy some time, to create some space, and that's exactly what they do. Vic in a 1v2, 45 HP, no armor. Trying to get them across the finish line, and it's gone from hard to harder. Just a sliver of health now, not able to stand by the stun. Sam gets 4, NRG stay alive.
Sam coming up huge right when NRG need him. That was such a good round from Cloud9. The delay on the spike plant was almost perfect. But taking the head-to-head against Oxy when you're down numbers like that, that's not an easy thing to do. Clutching up at the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity. Even that, just jumping over the molly, understanding that that's the finishing blow, making it so hard for Vic.
And managing to dodge the breach ult too. Very nicely done.
Just like that, Doug. C9 has no money. There is some light armor invested. Sheriffs across the board, except for Vic.
Yeah, if you guys haven't had enough of this emotional roller coaster, I don't think we're getting off this thing anytime soon.
Yeah, this is classic Fracture. Feels so good to be back.
They've essentially bullied them off of the site. Cloud9 forced to vacate the space. Sam committing to the plan will succeed. And now the orbital strike.
Yeah, full post plant here. Molly, orbital strike. You've got the breach seized. You look at Ethan in the lineup spot right now on Mada's screen.
There's a little bit of room here for Tevin if he's not careful.
Wow. Yeah. That's a big kill though from Sam once again.
How much further do they go? Oxy managed to upgrade a weapon. This is a late attempt, but they have nothing to lose.
Stun Molly.
It was just a tap, but it was enough. The spike will go off. A few more kills found, but I think the biggest one there to take away from was Finesse getting that kill at the end.
Yeah.
He's now 1 away from having his ult online.
And they were able to hold on to the Brimstone ultimate as well. Sam, understanding that he doesn't have to invest that. I was going to say the most ideal scenario is Cloud9 are able to bait that out, but with that not being baited out, it opens up another opportunity to come back for NRG. This time, full armor invested across the board for NRG, not dealing with those phantom headshots from Zeppa.
I mean,
they've had enough.
They are refusing to call it quits. Never say die for NRG. Does Finesse pop his ult here? Is that the plan, a Hell ult?
Yeah, it gives you a free sight. That's why you see proactivity from Cloud9 in A main. But the turret should be in range. It's not smoked off. Info now gathered from NRG that there is a flank.
But there are suspicions, if nothing else. Finesse is going to have a lot to do here with Verno close by. A little sidestep, now a second swing. Just waiting patiently. Trying to pepper through the smokes, through the utility, and Vic falls.
Yeah, Mada pushes through the smoke in spawn, but he gets traded by Oxy now.
Right here.
They've got them boxed in. This is a very dangerous situation as the smoke goes down. Sam with very nice snaps! Unreal from the controller! We're gonna play another round. Barring a miracle from Oxy, and that will not be the case.
And Sam is just on a different level right now in the server. He has stepped up so huge in these last 3 rounds. The impact he has had is like nothing we've seen so far in this server. He is now above Mata, 27, 12, and 13 assists to his name.
Pushing 30. And clinical with it again.
Oh, man.
So smooth.
It reminds me of that Icebox clip of him playing in the back of A-Site by Yellow.
You just can't ask for much more.
So reminiscent.
For Cloud9, it's been bend but do not break, but the cracks are starting to show. With every round of heroics from NRG, they get that much more brittle.
And just to give some context, if you are Cloud9, yes, you have secured the tie no matter what, so it's not the end of the world. But if you let it go to OT, all of a sudden you start sweating. Your palms get sweaty. Your hands might start shaking a little bit.
You're not going to finish that Eminem reference?
No.
Honestly, I'm proud of you for not.
I heard somebody laugh in the crowd. I was like, yeah. Got him. You got him.
Cloud9, again, as has been the case for a couple of rounds now, on the doorstep of winning Fracture. That's a damn heavy door.
Yeah. A great buy from Mata, getting the Outlaw. Understanding that Cloud9 like to invest in that light armor, not only in these eco rounds, but gun rounds as well.
And he's just a few pips away from having his ult, which could be all the difference maker in an attempt for OT. And so in we go one more time.
And interesting smokes right now from Cloud9, denying both A main control and B main control, or upper B.
There's so many little trap setups here. Playing behind boxes, looking for cheeky kills. You've got a judge for Mitch.
Good stun. If this Roomba isn't shot, Oxy will be found out.
And it's cleared immediately.
There's that break. And does Oxy want to invest the showstopper here if contact is made? Maybe after he gets a kill? Looks like he's not going to get contact anyway, but maybe that was the idea.
Mitch might get caught with utility out here.
Yeah, this is so risky, but it's off the turret though, Doug. Is it a trap setup off the turret?
I mean, if they're tucked right beneath it, it's not going to matter.
But it's Sam again. What a heads-up play. We're talking about impact.
Bro, Short Kings, stand up.
Or maybe don't stand up. Maybe just stay
maybe
short.
Don't, yeah.
30 seconds.
Yeah, after that first blood, NRG understand that there is going to be re-aggression from Cloud9. Net gets taken out. It's a free site right now.
Oxy's not going to find any space. The spike is going to get planted. Ethan's plenty far away from having his ults online, but we'll get one step closer. As Sam swings out. Well done by Vic to get one, but NRG get to 11.
What a clean anti-eco, Doug. But the awareness to crouch under that turret, because you can't really hear that at that distance.
And I mean, you mentioned it. That's what the setup was. The turret goes off, the stun goes out.
That's brutal.
He swings and gets a kill.
That is absolutely brutal. You're never going to see that turret ever again from Cloud9 if we see them play Fracture again.
Not from that far back.
No way.
Yo, this guy had a bad turret.
Yes, he did.
Oh, man. It's not over yet, though.
Final round of regulation. Ults on either side. And they're both coming from a position of strength here. Light armor a little bit for Cloud9. Oxy's close. And remember, he's got that ult.
Oh, my God.
Does he dare pull the trigger? Yes, he
Oh
does.
my gosh.
Satchel's out, but there's high ground. Mata gets the best of him. What a play. Still more to be done, though. Zeppa gets cleaned up. Numbers advantage the way of the attack. Trying to commit to getting a spike down, and it's uncomfortable. It's not safe. They're all so weak. Finesse is the only one that's healthy. As Mitch tries to dance around the utility, tries to find a sliver of hope, a little bit of space, some breathing room to make a play.
Everyone's so low right now for NRG. 3 players, 1 shot.
The drone cleared out, not even getting the suppress. Meanwhile, I still train towards Dish. Finesse is lying in wait. What's the call for the swing off the breach? And that's normally it, but again, a massive kill from the leader. He swings out, gets a second. Net by himself, still has 2 more find. The molly at his feet as he continues to tick away. Another one there. He swings out and falls to FNS. OT on the cards.
What an unbelievable comeback from NRG, and Finesse getting 3 to close it out. He made up for it and some. What a banger match, Doug.
Look, man, people can say what they want about Finesse and his fragging, and oftentimes it is fair criticism. But man, when he needs to step up.
And the calls were insane. That entire comeback starts with him.
Let's go,
being able to be composed, read into what Cloud9 are doing on the defensive side.
Immediately into overtime. The slate has been wiped clean. Cloud9 back on attack. And if you remember, this is where NRG struggled mightily.
Launching smoke.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's still even playing towards this heaven side.
Yeah,
with what he had to experience, right?
Yeah, given what we saw from him. First it's an A, then it's the missiles. Really just kind of paving the way for Cloud9 to get into tower. And they're going to continue to push this. There's not even an insertion. I mean, they want to stay here. A dangerous predicament they find themselves in. But it's one they've made by their own volition. The swing up from Psalm tries to snap onto the second, and he does. Holy crap!
Unreal! That was ridiculous, but somehow it's only Ethan in play right now. He does have a lot of breach utility.
Almost all of it. 20 seconds left on the stun. Spike's still not even planted yet.
Yeah, and last time Mitch was in this position, he crossed all the way over. That breach sees.
Do they try to leave? They don't have a lot of time for this here. The clove smokes.
So smart.
That's the difference maker.
But here's the problem. The time is running low right now. The breach C.
10 seconds left.
It can get him off. He's not going for it, though. He's just going to swing through dry and net. He'll take him out.
Switching sides.
Cloud9 again find themselves at the door of taking Fracture.
Wow, with so little time. I thought Ethan would surely use that breach seize, but maybe he thought it could have been a tap, a reposition.
That is filthy.
But it's all for naught. Sam is sitting at 30, though.
Another attempt for NRG to extend the map. A lot of focus towards Arcade, as has been the case the entire map. Mata 2 away from his ult. They continue to put playmaking tools in the hands of the youngster, in the hands of the star. One in the making, satchel forward, tackled right by him, and Mitch was ready. He's panics to get a second, and this very well might be it. Can Cloud9 finally drag themselves over the finish line?
Oh my goodness,
Or
Doug.
will Ethan do it again? The heroics from NRG, that have been so problematic. Again, rear their ugly heads. They're weak, though. And Oxy's still alive. He didn't spot him. He didn't see him now. Finally spots him. Finesse on the trade.
Planted.
And now Zeppa filling in on the space that Oxy previously had. With Mitch not far off. Ethan has his ult, but he's not really playing in a position where he can invest it. Swings out onto one. Zeppa hadn't been tagged, and that will do it. He top fragged in the first half, and he closes things out. Cloud9 take Fracture.
An absolute banger. Map 1 on Fracture, NRG's map pick. But you said it perfectly, Zeppa, the one who stepped up in that first half. 19-10 was his score. Ending with almost 30, closing it out in OT, creeping up A main.
Managing to dodge the breach ult. And yeah, Ethan was in a pretty miserable spot there, but that doesn't take away from the play that Zeppa made. That was enormous.
hats off to NRG for fighting through that. That was a tough match to come back from.
I mean, they gave it a run. It just wasn't enough.
It's just every year I watch this Cloud9 squad, I just get so impressed. They really innovate. I mean, this composition, I was telling you beforehand, I was like, I'm not even sure how they're gonna get into sights. But they made the Teo look so good. I haven't seen a team really make it look this good. And Mitch, he's IGLing on the roll nonetheless.
I think Mitch's calling was really impressive. There are so many things to take away. Som was nuts. It was incredible, but again, Cloud9 walk away on top. They survive overtime, and they take a 1-0 series lead. We'll see you guys on the other side of this break.
Okay, Team Secret, we need you guys on the stage now. Come on, let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go, let's go.